Well, what a lovely track. And for those of you just joining us, my name's Cody Mike, and I'm afraid I can't be with you in person today due to technical issues or family duties. Lasai. Either way, not to worry. Me and the puppies will be seeing you again very soon, and I've curated quite the mix of superb tracks to keep you going on that long, dusty desert road in my absence. So, here we go. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it.
With that summer spirit that comes with fresh sea fret and gull cries, a delicious cockle cordial is worth sailing the coasts for.
Without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. And this is something
paired beautifully with Bunyan's very own siphonophore gin. You'll love the crisp taste of jellied alcohol and that signature fishy finish which will blow your mind.
I call upon you for strength. Our sacrifices have slated your thirst, but I know you must hunger for more. Though you have not offered us breeding stock in the last delivery, that only strengthens my resolve. They shall be split upon the red rock, and their entrails shall spell the next step. Your temple shall be rebuilt. Our temple to them. The mammals shall be wiped from this earth. We shall see it done. We have eyes on the tome now itself. It is only a matter of time. We, your degenerate servants, shall supply. From the ashes of abattoir, Midian shall rise once again, and from the ashes of Midian the former world shall emerge, the true world, that owned by you, Alicia Sarisiana. You, my priestess, and your Tehihan slaves, and us, for Yig the Almighty. I pledge my bond once again to you, Mother, with my real name, Tylarish, your true son, and also as your Reverend Mordecai Osteen, and also as all my other faces. All of me pledges my bond. I will promise this to you. Seth, I see you're healed. Welcome back to the fold, my child. How is, Kelly, the lost mother? Well, before she's taken to the breeding house, take her on to the right, just below the elbow, as always. Then you may take her real face and anything else left of her straight to the breeding house. To the victor, the spoils. Enjoy yourself, Seth, my son. The Apocalypse Players present Highway of Blood. A Call of Cthulhu scenario by Alex Guillotte, Ian Christiansen, and Davae Breon Jaxson. With Dan Wheeler as Quincy J. Lafitte, Dominic Allen as Edward Ed Mooney, Joseph Chance as Beverley Jack Carstairs, and Danann McAleer as the keeper of arcane lore. This is based on a true story. Part 12. Desperation.
I start sort of pumping my chest and doing these kind of big, and I take my shirt off and I go, come on, to the crowd. And I'm in Amherst Stadium.
Twist Quincy's head off and just throw it on the ground.
Well, I think I'd probably go back to the bucket because I've fixated on the bucket. And I do that. I go, whoa, like that, and I go, ah. And I hug Quincy and I lift him up and I kiss him on the face. And I give him a big punch.
Oh God, it's like being back in San Diego Zoo.
And
I go, Dusk's up, Dusk's up. Dusk's up, Dusk's up. And I'm geeing the crowd up.
love it. And then you probably don't realise, but Quincy realises the figure that you saw briefly with the white hair has disappeared from the doorway, and you see a barrel point up, and you feel something slap you in the neck, and you start feeling very woozy, and then Jack feels the same.
Well, I don't think I feel anything. I go out.
And we cut back to Ed, who you wake up again on this thing, and you're still like untied on half your body. You seem to have this rattling chain that you can sort of move about. You've got like blood down the side of your head, and you remember him like hitting you over the head with this glass, reciting some weird fucking poetry, and then like leaving in a sort of gleeful mood. And you're there in this very posh waiting room. Is there anything you'd like to try doing?
What's within arm's reach? Is there anything useful?
So the mantelpiece you could maybe shimmy over towards to see if there's anything on there. The kitchen side, the sort of the kitchen island, the sort of breakfast bar counter of the kitchen, the tiled surface is there. You can't see what's on top of it because you can't really get fully up to like seated, but you can see there's like a knife rack, various other things.
Well, I'll have a feel around at what I can reach and see if there is anything either on the mantelpiece or the kitchen side. The counter island, and see the island counter.
Okay. Well, firstly, give me a luck roll, and then I'll go from there.
Oh, rats! Just out.
Okay. So there's nothing that you can feel, but you can see this knife rack. So you kind of feel like if there's some way of getting like a bit of length to your reach or something, you might be able to like tilt that in your direction. And you think of the fact you're lying on this. It's sort of like a padded bed. There are sheets and stuff, and you're able to sort of move your body. You're sort of halfway up to sitting.
Are my feet restrained?
Yeah,
my legs
around the ankles. I mean, the chains aren't thick. They're quite small chains, but they're like just tightly done to the bed, so you don't have much give except for that left-hand side that you can sort of move up and down from when he gave you the drink.
I mean, I'll give a tug with one of my arms and see if I can force the chain, if I can break one of them. Maybe
that'll be a strength roll.
That's my first port of call. Well, that's a hard success on my strength roll.
Okay, so you manage to snap the very thin chain that was holding your sort of left-hand side there, and you sort of get the impression that, like, with a bit more strength and a bit of time, you could probably break off these bonds. You'd still have the manacles on you, which wouldn't be that sort of comfortable.
Well, now I've got a hand free. Is there any way of undoing the manacles, or are they?
They look like they're key-based, but yeah.
Well, in that case, I will just try and break my way off the bed.
Okay. I think what's the least boring way of doing this? I would say a strength roll, another strength roll, and then a constitution roll, and then I'll tell you how many hit points you have left, just so you're aware of your state.
Right. That's an extreme success on my strength.
Great. So your other hand snaps right off. So you're able to sit right up, and it's just your legs that are there. And you've also gained 5 hit points. So that would be 7, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you don't know how long you've been here, obviously. But just so you're now aware, I feel like it's a bit mean to hide how many hit points you have from you.
I mean, I might try and break my leg bonds then.
Yeah.
Now my hands are free.
Yeah.
Is that a roll for each?
I mean, you could just keep rolling until you're free, right? So I don't know if there's any point. I think now that your arms are free, I'm happy to say, like, given the time, it'll take a bit of time, but you're able to get your leg bonds free as well.
Great.
And so you're there.
I'll do that.
You're there in the room.
Game changer.
Yeah. You're there in the room. And you've got, bookshelf on your right, mantelpiece on your right, kitchen on your left, door that he left through straight ahead of you towards what you assume is the front door. And there's also another door just slightly on your right, just past the mantelpiece, that's like open a crack. And it just catches your attention because it's weird looking. It's like not like a sort of meat chiller door, but like a sort of steel door with one of those, those push bars. That sort of opens it in a sort of automated, like a vacuum seal way.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is go and pick up the biggest, sharpest kitchen knife I can find.
Great. You do so. It's in, there's a huge one in the knife rack here. Feels pretty sharp when you test it on the old thumb.
Good.
That's a hit point.
Good.
No, I'm joking. The shards of muscle.
So, now I've got a choice. Is it what time of day? I don't know what time of day it is.
No. Although if you turn around, there are blinds. They're wooden blinds, but they're closed.
I'll see if I can crack the blind just a little to peek out.
Yeah. You do so, and you can't see anything. You can only see the reflection through the blind from the room you're in.
So it's pitch dark.
Feels like it's pitch dark outside.
Good. Because my option was either wait in the bed and pretend that I'm still there holding the knife.
Yeah.
Or go hunting. And I think Mooney's of a mind to go hunting.
Yeah.
As it's dark.
So
I am going to peek through that steel door, because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
If it's ajar, have a quick look in.
Yeah. So you open it and it sort of silently opens. And the first thing you notice is the other side of the door and this steep staircase down into the earth is all covered in what looks like sort of foam egg boxes. Like soundproofing, maybe. That sort of thing.
Okay. Oh, guys, what do I do? My sanity's... what am I talking about? I haven't lost much sanity, but my sanity's very low to start with. I'm going to creep downstairs and have a look.
Yeah. Great.
So why wouldn't I? Is there a light source anywhere nearby, like a torch or anything?
Well,
I don't like the dark.
If you go back to no, of course you don't. If you go back to the kitchen, there are certainly lighters. There's probably if you're looking through drawers and stuff, you'll be able to find matches. I'll say there's a candle there. If you'd rather light a candle, go Scrooge style rather than
I'll do that.
Okay, lovely. And you so you make your way down gradually. And you can barely hear your own footsteps.
Cautiously. Very
cautiously. It's like being in a dead room. In the sense of, radio recording. It's like one of those sort of rooms with all the angles that makes you get mad within 10 minutes. You realise it's like heavily soundproofed. And when you get down there, there's a series of like metal gurneys laid out. They all look very pristine. And there's a series of tools on one side that also look very pristine. And there's a sort of series of boxes across the other side that they're not as pristine. They're sort of like they're open and there's like clothes sort of spilling out of them, but like quite a lot of clothes. And then on the side closest to you as you turn, there's like 3 small kennels, but they're painted sort of in like quite bright primary colours with like little rainbows and unicorns on them.
Jesus Christ. This is the place with no kids in the town, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to have a look in the little kennels.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
Okay.
Just bend down and have a look at a distance.
Yeah. Looking in with your candle, all you can see is what you might expect to see in any kennel. You know, there's a sort of, you know, a hook in the door, and there's a sort of a length of chain and a little, what looks like a little collar, and some sort of bedding.
But there's nothing alive in there.
Well, if you're looking in them properly, could you give me a spot hidden?
Fucking hell. Don't like this.
How big is the kennel?
Well, luckily I
size.
failed that. That's an 84 on a 50.
So you actually get the impression you might not want to look any closer, because your stomach feels sort of suddenly quite leaden, and there's something about the more fun aspects of the chases and the sort of adrenaline rush of this town that's suddenly taken the wind out of your sails, and you don't want to know quite what's in there. There's no bodies, there's nothing like that, but you've seen enough, I think. And the rest of the room, as I say, is pristine, but the soundproofing tells a story, and the tools tell a story, and they're pristine. Yeah.
So I'm going to creep back upstairs.
Yeah. You get to the top, and there doesn't seem to be anyone waiting for you. You're back in the sort of the kitchen dining area. Very beautifully mahogany sort of floors. Like, it's the opposite of most of the houses you've sort of seen. These dilapidated shacks around the town. It's like a sort of San Francisco home.
I'm going to scan my eyes across the bookshelves in case anything jumps out to me.
Yeah, it jumps out and it takes your right eye. No, nothing. Nothing you recognise, I don't think, because you don't know what to look for, do you?
No.
That sounds like a diss. I just mean you don't.
No, it's true. So I'm going to look under the sink or in the cupboards for anything flammable.
Flammable, okay, yeah.
Like paraffin or...
since it's the kitchen cupboards in where it is, give me... keep going back to luck, but do give me a luck roll and just let me know.
I warned him. Oh, that's a 90.
No, there's bleaches, there's like cleaning fluids, there's bleaches, there's things like that, but there's nothing like white spirit. I mean, white spirit's unreliable.
There's always white spirit under our sink.
Yeah, well, there is, but white spirit is really hard to light, actually. It doesn't actually catch fire as well as you'd think.
Well, that's okay.
The amount of times I've been next to a fucking wall trying to, and it just... genuinely. But yeah.
Well, that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling all the books down off the bookshelf and pile them up on the bed.
Okay. And this bed you're on, it was sort of like, it's like one of those camping triage, not what are they? They're like, the sort of...
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Fold out.
Yeah.
Camp bed.
Z bed.
It doesn't belong in the middle of that room, so it seems like he was keeping you in a special place to sort of talk to you and watch you. I mean, you were quite injured, so you get the impression he's definitely healed you. At least enough for you to move around this easily. Yeah.
And once I've piled up all the books, I'll rip some of the pages out and just make a big pile.
Yeah.
And then I'll just go around the edge of the candle and light as much of it on fire as I can.
Love it. Great. I love the fact you haven't even checked out the front door to see where you are yet.
No,
just bricks.
Not interested.
No, I'm joking. So
I don't care if I die now.
Okay, fair. So you light this fire.
I just want to take as many as possible.
And have you tried to do it so it'll light gradually?
Yeah, like going around the outer edge so that it'll definitely get going.
Yeah.
But equally, it's not going to, so it's not going to fizzle out.
Do you do the classic,
it's not gonna...
leaving the... I shouldn't be giving you ideas. I was going to say, do you do the classic turn the hobs on and then just leave?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. If there's gas.
Yeah.
If there's gas, I'm going to turn the gas on.
Bed over there, slow fire building, turn the gas on over the other side, leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. At which point...
I fucking warned him.
Yeah. And do you then make your way to the front door?
Yeah.
Great. So just before we cut back to the others briefly, you make the front door. Do you want to bring anything with you? You bring the knife with you, I assume?
I'm taking the knife and the candle, but I might extinguish the candle before I step outside so no one sees me. Or at least likes to see me.
Lovely. and then you sort of like you step out and close it behind you, and you see that you're in a sort of
Disneyland.
You let your eyes adjust. You see that you're in a giant sort of a concrete courtyard. I guess it's like adobe sort of houses, but it's like all in this sort of 3-part, like 3 walls are taken up with these different shelters, like a motel almost, but a sort of New Mexico motel sort of space with a big gate at the other side. You realise it might be the place you drove past when you were first going out to the tents, this sort of big concrete compound you went past. The gate looks the same anyway, but you can't see anyone out there. And I guess you sort of probably wait there breathing for a second just to see if you see any movement, at which point we'll cut back to the others who wake up. And by the way, time is not linear for the 2 groups, just so you're aware. But you wake up.
Understood.
And it's like you're waking
Sound
up.
of an explosion.
No. You wake up.
Wake up in the charred remains.
You wake up and it's like you know when you sort of like, when you're trying to not wake up and there's a bright light on it and all you can see, you're covering your face with your hand and all you can see is a very pink light. That sort of like the flesh, light through flesh thing. That's what everything feels like. But you feel more comfortable, certainly, than where you were before. It feels like the floor you're on, as you sort of search it a bit as you wake up, feels like it's got some give. And there's a smell in the air.
Oh,
there's a smell in the air.
Oh god,
and there's a smell
inside something.
It's like
inside a body.
Well, the smell is like ammonia and like cigarette smoke, somewhere between those 2 things, with maybe a hint of like Dettol. And you realise that the give on the floor, it isn't a body, it's cloth, it's like padding. And you sort of, as you look up and your eyes adjust, you realise there's sort of quite childish cartoon like crayon drawings all over the walls of like rainbows and like ponies and stuff. And there's the reason the light is so red is that the one light bulb on the wall is painted red, so there's this sort of red glow to the light you're getting, but all you can smell is this sort of ammonia and like cigarettes and bleachy stuff. It's certainly far less vomit inducing than the place you were dumped originally.
Do I can't speak for both of us, but do I feel like have I been cleaned, or am I still in soiled clothes?
Very good question. You have been cleaned.
What am I wearing?
And you're not wearing your clothes.
Oh, what am I wearing?
Nothing.
Naked as the day I was born.
Yeah. Just the padding, and there is like bedding. There's sheets and stuff in this sort of cell section with you. There are bars again, but they're like, you know, they seem stronger. You looking over, Jack isn't wearing anything either. Jack, I don't know if you're experiencing this yourself at the same time, but
Jack.
What? Oh.
Jack.
Yes. It's me. I'm here. It's me.
Where we are, I don't.
It's not him. It's me.
It's okay. It's all right, Jack. I'm with you.
He's inside me, though. No, he's inside me. You don't understand. I often wondered, and now I know.
Who's inside you? Who's that? Who's that?
We're at the base of a mountain, though.
Oh, well, it feels like it, right? That's for sure.
I wonder if they were here, too. I wonder if they ever came here.
I think someone was here, too. Listen, you...
Why have we got no clothes on?
I don't know, but listen, I am proud.
My knife! And I start scrapping around as you say that I'm not proud.
I'm going to take a look around. And I sort of
How big
slide
is this
out.
place?
Yeah, exactly. We're both woken up in like sort of beds.
I thought it was like a cell, but
yeah, it's sort of the half the room is a cell you're in with a padded floor and padded walls. The other half is this sort of nursery almost looking room, but like unused. And there's a door at the other side. So I guess it's like the room you've got to move around in. About half the space is about like 5 by 10 if that makes sense.
But we can't get to that other half of the...
Not as things stand, no.
Yeah.
So there are bars between us and
the door.
But we've woken up in beds.
No, you're just on the floor, but it's padded. The floor's padded. The walls are padded. The ceiling might well be padded. Not that you can reach it.
How far away is there anything on the nursery shelves?
Yeah, there's a couple of old books. There's what looks like a little horse, like a wooden horse on wheels. There's that sort of thing.
What kind of is it a studded padding? Is it the kind of padding that?
Yeah, it's that sort of the sort of where it's put in like sort of squares, so it's like studded per square, like tiles, but pinned down.
It's basically a padded cell.
Yeah.
Could I pull out any studs, or are they metal bolted?
You could give it a go. I'm not sure if they're metal. You could like try and pull them out. It might take the fucking edge off your fingernails, but you feel free to give it a sort of a dex roll or something.
I don't know. What do you think? I start to sort of shake my hands a bit as if I'm thinking about doing something physical. What do you think?
Listen, I'm willing to try anything. I feel like I'm getting some of my strength back, but if I'm honest, I don't know whether there's going to be a way out of this through brute force.
I cover my gentles with my left hand, and I put my hand up and I say, "But I could talk to him. He might be able to do something for us."
Listen, who do you mean, him?
And I lean in and I look around and I say, "The one who talks through me. You know? You saw it, right?"
I was hoping that might have been part of my dream.
Yeah, I think it all is, right? So if it's all a dream, let's talk to him, and maybe he can help us. I don't know, but I'll need something. I'll need to do something. I don't know. Do you have any... You don't have any metal in you, do you? Like a collarbone or a thing that I could pull out? And I look at you, my eyes are really weird when I say that.
I back away.
No, I don't mean sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't think so. I mean,
maybe one of these. I'll try one of these
metal
buttons.
in our cells. We're composed in many different minerals, and there's a large number of base metals that compose our bodies. There's iron in our blood.
That's good. Keep talking. And I bend down and I'll try and take one of these things out. Using my I no longer care about the modesty of my nethers.
Yeah, love it.
And I try to use my left hand.
Mainly carbon, of course. There's some silicon in there.
Strength rolls?
A lot of...
I was going to say dex, but actually, yes, strength, I guess. If you're going for, like, you're still in a sort of state of... So I think you can just put all your force into it, and even if you shatter a couple of fingernails, you're not probably bothered in the moment, are you?
Well, I mean, obviously...
Well, you don't want to lose any... yeah.
That will be a hit point. Hit point, potentially. I don't know.
You guys also got back 5 hit points, by the way.
Oh.
There was clearly medical attention done to you between the cell and this red room.
So up to 5 as a total, or 5?
No, 5
in addition to my 1.
5 in addition.
Oh, great. So,
and of course, magic points back up to full.
Yeah.
Presumably, therefore.
Yeah.
For sleep.
But you guys haven't figured out.
So yeah, unless there's anything else I can see that I could possibly use as a sharp edge.
There's nothing you can see. It seems like this place is a lot tidier. It's like you've been brought to somewhere that's a lot harder to escape from. You can.
I was sort of imagining one of those kind of like a mattress button, but I guess it's not going to be that, is it?
It's not dissimilar, but I guess it's not soft underneath the button. It's like because it's into the hard floor. You can both give me a listen roll as you... I'll take the strength roll and see if you manage to pull it up.
I ain't gonna lie, I got a horrible sense of deja vu. I ain't got any idea whether it's player or character or whether it's deliberate manifestation of a previous situation we've been in, or I'm losing my mind, for real.
I know. I think mine's halfway out the door. It's okay, Lafitte. I'm gonna use the, and I just pull this thing out, and I leave a nail behind because it's only a regular success. But I've got a 44, and unfortunately the noise and I go. Ah!
Yeah.
I block. I can't hear anything. 93 on my list.
But you pull it up, and suddenly there's a bit of a more aerated cushion of and you think you might be able to rip it, and maybe that could then be used to like rip up the rest. Like you've done something of use there, if that makes sense. And
is there a piece of metal? It's like a tiny piece of metal.
Yeah, there's like a little bolt in there.
Like a little bolt.
It's not sharper,
perfect.
But it's...
No. That's all I need. That's all I need.
And at the same time, both of you do me a listen roll as that sort of grunt of success.
Yeah, I failed mine, unfortunately.
Not to worry.
Yeah. I think I gotta try something because I don't know how long we have. Right?
Sure.
Deja fucking vu.
We ain't got nothing to lose, right?
Okay, and I start to just score lines across my forearm.
Whoa! When I said we ain't got nothing to lose,
and I just start scoring more and more, and I start
Jack,
opening my mouth and going. And I start to cut my bosom, my chest. I'm just trying to get blood out, and I start to get the blood, and I start smearing it in marks. As I cast the spell, Summon Mygo.
Wow.
Call Mygo. I'm going to call Mygo.
Amazing.
To me, because I'm at the base of the mountain, and they may have visited, for there are mines in the region, and that is of the book.
Yeah. I mean, you can only try.
Okay, so this is going to be incredibly close, guys, because I've rolled a 25.
On your what, Cthulhu Mythos?
On my Cthulhu Mythos of 7, because I've had 2 bouts of madness, and I started with 1 for 5, 2 bouts since, 1 per bout.
I think so.
7. I rolled a 25, so 25 minus 7 is...
18.
I've got 18 luck left.
Wow. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
I mean, it's madness. It's absolute madness, but I'm going to spend all my luck to get a 7. So I continue this black speech that I'm doing, that I learned on my previous spell, and I'm just sort of I think I'm pouring out words at the same time as making these marks on this kind of conveniently quite white surface, right? And I start to sort of create a circle.
Jesus Christ,
then,
Jack. What the hell?
And then I think I whip up some of the fabric as well, and then I just piss into it. And it's that deep, kind of slightly dehydrated colour of piss, isn't it? And then I very delicately place kind of 4 lines down my face, like that. And then I open my mouth, and this kind of black fluid comes out of my mouth into the hole. And then I stand back with my arms outstretched, and I say, "Whatever you do, don't move when they come until I give you the signal. If they come, don't move."
Yeah.
All right.
And then I stand there chanting over and over the same sentence. So potentially someone will come in, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, that's an amazing image. Just you pouring black ichor and blood into a fucking...
Quincy Lafitte, a naked 14-year-old man, like cowering in the corner of the padded cell. Probably pissing himself with fear.
Yeah.
Thankful for his lack of glasses, because he can't quite make out exactly what's happening.
Why do I have a feeling you've just thrown petrol on a fire?
Yeah, well, probably have.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And as you're cowering and sort of blurrily seeing this sort of blooded mass of your former friend sort of summoning some abominable thing, while that's happening, Ed Mooney, you suddenly hear feet rushing, and you see people like crossing the courtyard, and there is a little sort of, you can duck back and sort of hide in the shadows by the door if you'd like to, but you don't have to. You've still got your kitchen knife. But you see like 4 or 5 people sort of rushing out and going,
"There's something going on in there. Something's off."
"They escaped?"
"No, I don't think so. Call the Reverend. Get torches, quick.
And you see like a fire lighting up in the distance as well.
Could you give me a listen roll?
It seems like there's just chaos dotting about all over the place. And you hear some weird noises. And
that's a hard success on my listen roll.
You hear one of them say, as they pass you, well, tell the Reverend, open the armory. We need to open the armory. Go, stand watch. And you see one of them run over to a sort of like a cinder block building in the corner of this sort of walled off area. Meanwhile, inside, I think...
How many are there?
Like
now, outside?
4 or 5 crossed the yard, sort of, in a sort of thing of, a panic sort of going, where's the Reverend, where's the Doctor? And you can see...
But then they go, do they?
They go, they sort of split off into different buildings.
But one of them standing watch in the courtyard?
One of them goes over to the cinder block building in the corner of the yard. And sort of...
But everyone else has gone, it's just him and the other going into the cinder block thing.
At the moment, yeah. Although you get the impression that there's a sort of awakening going on, like people are sort of getting up out of their sleep.
Yeah.
Middle of the night.
Well, if I can, I want to call across the courtyard to him in a sort of stage whisper and say, hey, help! You gotta help, there's a problem.
What?
Quick, come here.
Who's that?
There's a problem. There's a fire. I think there's a fire. Come here. Look at this.
Is that you, Bartholomew?
Yes, come here, for God's sakes.
Oh, I gotta stay. What? Okay, one moment. And he sort of comes, sort of half skipping over towards you.
Take 2 seconds. Yeah, and as soon as he's within reach, I take the knife and I stab him 30 times in the neck.
Right.
Just really, really fast and furious like that.
Amazing. So while this horrible massacre is happening and you're rolling for damage, I'm going to roll to try and avoid that, obviously. Jack, inside. Oh yeah, I said
I'm going to kill everyone. I'm going to do my best.
I think you did get him right up close to you, so you can just...
I got hard success, by the way, anyway, so...
Fucking damage him with your kitchen knife, see if he fights back. But meanwhile, Jack inside, how did that go?
Well, so it's
the ceremony
the success depends upon your interpretation. So it requires one must be at the base of a mountain, and it must be a mountain that has been mined.
Those both line up.
And then the number of Migo that appear is your choice, but it's multiple unless it's a large creature. So these are humanoid size, so these are not. So it's multiple Migo will appear depending on the number that you consider to be reasonable for a group to be able to spare. In the case of the Migo colony that is nearby, should there be one.
Right.
And if there isn't, if there isn't one nearby, you can roll D100 hours for how long it takes them to get there.
Here.
Because they will come.
They will come.
Yeah, so long as there are...
I hope we're long gone by the time they get here.
But the thing is, we still have no fucking idea what's going on here, so it might be that we're sitting right on the Migo.
I mean...
You're lucky / unlucky.
Yeah.
I guess
that's
one way. Way to find out, right?
Obviously, if it is then successful, I will then roll 1d3 sand loss. Only 1d3, guys.
Yeah,
Wow.
But obviously, there is also sand loss for seeing.
For the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't really think this through.
Okay. So
I got excited.
As just to end this, I'm sorry, it's just too much fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I knew it would happen.
Especially now I've got full murder hobo.
Lafitte's our secret weapon.
As Dom,
Try my best to go full murder hobo.
Finish fucking lacerating this neck like a potato waffle.
Yeah.
He was pretty ill, this fella. A lot of these people have radiation poisoning, so it's almost not...
I'd have done 6 damage on my first attack anyway. So.
He's gurgling and he's frothing at the mouth, and you're just...
And I say, Doctor's not going to help you now, is he? Doctor's not going to fucking help you now, because you're going to be fucking dead. You're all fucking dead. When I get that doctor, I'm not going to make it easy for him either. I'm taking his eyes first, and then his tongue, and then every single one of his fucking fingernails.
And you realise he stopped even trying to breathe a long time ago, and you've just been monologuing and stabbing the whole time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, so
I think.
Yeah.
I think within the symbols
please.
of the Mygo, I left a message from Carrington Carstairs, as I understand it to be, which is on the wall. I've written, "I wish to reopen my account."
In the big circle of blood.
Yeah.
CC.
Yeah.
And his mark.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I have rolled for your spell. I hope you don't mind me doing that, just because I feel like
But
that way I know.
I mean, I've rolled a 7 to pass the Cthulhu mythos.
As in you've succeeded. Yeah. I mean, as in when they'll arrive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's only if they're a long way away. If they were close, they would come.
Yeah, but I'm not. What I'm saying is, I'm not going to let you know immediately which one that is, just because that's nice.
No, absolutely.
Since it's that dramatic.
Absolutely.
So you sort of, in your head, you hear this buzzing, and you see the blue eyes again, and you kind of feel like, I've done something here. I've properly summoned something here. I think, Quincy, God knows what you're feeling. This is the second time you've seen this guy now in the last, well, probably in the last week, but you're not aware of how much time has passed, but ish. You know, it's about 4 or 5 days, but he's fucking gone mad again and cut himself to shit and written mad shit on the walls, and he seems to be summoning something.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for a psychology roll.
Possibly not. Although, you never know. He's might be working for the greater good. The greater good. But
the greater good.
As this moment finishes, the door opens and a white-haired figure steps through, and you recognise him as Reverend Osteen. And there's a couple of guys behind him with like guns, but he sort of just puts his arm out and he says, "Well now, you have been having fun in here, haven't you? What is it you think you're attempting to do?"
And I turn and I look at him, and I've rolled a 6, so I lose 3 sanity for the casting of my spell. And
lovely.
I roll a 2 on the 2 on the random table of madness.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I look a bit vacant in that moment.
It's psychosomatic disability. The investigator suffers psychosomatic blindness, deafness, or loss of the use of a limb or limbs for 1d10 rounds.
Wow. I mean, which was the arm you were... Well, I mean, it's up to you, actually. What do you reckon happens?
I think...
Maybe he's deaf from the buzzing.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
I look at him...
That's it.
Like he's crazy. And I walk to the bar, and I offer him the little metal bolt, and I say, "They'll be coming for this. You want it, or shall I keep it?"
You hang on to that. And you, Lafitte, if that's your name. What's happened to your friend here? He gone completely mad? He done this before?
I look at I look at Jack, and then I launch myself at Jack, and I say, "You fucker! I can't believe you've done it again!" And I start, I sort of wrestle to him on the floor, and I start roaring at him, and then I get right up in his ear, and I say, play along!
Amazing.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
No, I mean, why the fuck not? And they don't do anything to stop you, so are you trying to cause damage?
No. I'm hoping that we're going to be separated.
Horseplay sort of stuff, or...
Exactly. Because sort of wrestling around, pretending to be, gnawing at his ear and wrestling him.
Yeah.
Sliding around, both naked, covered in blood.
Yeah. So at that point, I mean, you might not really register this, but basically, the Reverend Osteen has a little word with the doctor, and gestures, and him and the two guys with guns leave, and the door closes, and it's just you two wrestling in the cage, and the Reverend Osteen just stood in the room in front of you, and he just sort of waits for you to finish if you do finish.
I think I just try and physically push him away, and I look back confusedly, and I'm registering that I'm saying things, but I can't hear them. No, I haven't got an idea what he's talking about. So,
Right.
I think I take the iron bolt and I put it in my mouth and I swallow it.
Yeah. And the Reverend just says,
now, I don't know what it is you think you're doing with that boat or this blood writing or anything. But I need to know. I've just been having a lovely conversation with Dr. Brenner there, and your friend, Mr. Mooney, he spilled a few truths. Now we're on our way right now to get De Vermis Mysterious, as that's what she wants. Now, is there anything else that you two need to tell me, or are you useless to me now?
I look at Lafitte. His mouth stopped moving.
Yeah, his mouth stopped moving, but he stopped making sense a long time before that.
Can't you hear them? They're coming.
They're coming. Who's
I
coming?
could make them stop if you like. I could tell them to leave your people alone.
What's he talking about?
I don't know. He might be talking
My
about
family's friends.
the pirates. The pirates of Jean Lafitte.
John Lafitte.
The witch magic he wrought upon a friend of yours.
They'll come down from the stars.
Will they?
They will.
I see. Well, we have something to combat that ourselves. You're not the only ones with messengers from the stars.
and something weird starts to happen to his face. It almost starts like rippling up slightly, and he says, now, you'll tell me everything that I want to know. And he starts twitching.
Oh no.
And he says, who are these people that are coming for us? Who are these things that are coming for us? And you can see like bones start to sort of like, it's like he's like dislocating his arms.
He's one of them.
I take a step back and I say, can't you hear them? And I look to Lafitte and I go, Quincy, can't you hear them? They must be close.
I can hear him, Jack. Don't worry, I can hear him.
Why can't I hear you?
Well, whatever they are, they cannot match Yig for their power.
And you just see him basically, it's like his belly sort of pushes out through his shirt and rises up and almost envelops his head. And it's sort of, he turns into this sort of writhing mass of flesh, and you immediately, Jack, recognize it as the tumorous, screaming thing that you saw inside the tent just before meeting the Reverend.
I think in the moment of casting the spell, as it reaches its ritual completion, as the circles converge with the triangles and the symbols and the devotion to Shub-Niggurath, that goddess whose name cannot be spoken, the one who walks in the woods, timeless and hateful mother of 1,000 young, the Dark Walker. He becomes aware. Beverley Carstairs becomes aware of a hand working within his hand and a spirit working within his spirit. My great uncle. That's who it is. He's been hidden within me all these years. Those quiet conversations about nothing much in particular. They were always to do with preparing the ground for this day. He's been waiting. A connection. But it's not the whole of him. He's dissipated. He's not as powerful as he once was. He's an echo of a time before, a thing he was trying to make himself into being. And my mother was the daughter of the woman who was part of rediscovering it. Genevieve Carstairs was a key in the gate. And I am that door that is opening, allowing a part of Carrington to live on in this strange, lost, forgotten, awful place. And suddenly a whole part of my life begins to make sense. Days in Amherst where I would find myself dazed and confused, to be almost waking up in a quadrangle, books tucked under my arm, the contents of which I did not understand why I would have ever gotten out of the library. And yet, these volumes, they were strange and often dealing with old and unusual matters, and I remembered nothing about reading them. I gained no knowledge of them. I simply returned them to the library like an automaton, or maybe like a child, and I feel in that moment so childish, and when the buzzing starts, it's so awful and yet pleasing, so similar to something that I know, so familiar and profound, and gives me a yearning, burning desire, a want of power, a thing that I've never known in my own life. And I feel how small and petty my own being is compared to his, and to compare it to theirs. Something turning, something kept, something crawling and laying its eggs. Something came out of me today. Something that I've lost maybe forever. But there may be a chance to be more myself. And maybe there is a lesson to be taken there. Don't be afraid. Take it. If you can win it. If you can have it and hold it and call it yours. Don't waste the day. Tusk's up. Tusk's up.